What if I told you that 30 minutes of smart SEO work could bring you more readers than hours of social media promotion? Here's how to make SEO work for you, not against you.
Welcome to today's training, SEO Made Simple. Keys to ranking without the stress. That's really important. We're trying to cut stress out of our life, right? If the word SEO makes you feel overwhelmed or sends you down a rabbit hole of confusing technical jargon, we get it. You're not alone. We've all been there, okay? Even in changing times. So many bloggers avoid SEO because it seems so complicated or time consuming. But the truth is SEO doesn't have to be stressful or require a computer science degree to understand it. Okay. We're going to help you. We're here to help.
Yeah. So today we're going to break down the foundational SEO techniques that actually move the needle for bloggers, not to get confused with all the other things. You're going to learn practical, stress-free strategies for keyword research. You're going to learn on-page optimization and even how to build backlinks that help your content get found by the people who need it most.
So here's what you're going to learn. There are 4 things. Number 1, essential SEO fundamentals that drive real results for bloggers like you. You need someone who's going to help you as a blogger. Number 2, simple keyword research techniques that don't require extensive tools. Okay. If you know us, you know where we're going with that. Number 3, on-page optimization strategies that you can implement starting now. When you're done watching all of this, you can walk away and implement this. And number 4, practical backlink building methods that feel natural and authentic, which is really important.
So what are you going to walk away with by the end of this training? A clear, actionable SEO strategy that fits your blogging routine, confidence to optimize your content without getting overwhelmed, and practical tools and techniques to improve your search rankings consistently. So before we dive in with the number 1 SEO mistake beginners make, let's get our free printable. Text the word SIMPLE, S-I-M-P-L-E, S-I-M-P-L-E, kind of sound like Mickey Mouse. Text the word SIMPLE to 251-644-6701, and you will get your free printable.
I thought it sounded more like the B-I-B-L-E.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Okay, we could go with that too. All right, so we're going to dive in. The number 1 SEO mistake that beginners make is trying to master every SEO technique all at once. Okay, here's what happens. Many bloggers dive into SEO by attempting to implement every single strategy that they've heard about. You've heard Kelly talk about this. Like, we can't take a recipe and we can't take 5 recipes and mix them all together. Okay. They're going to take complex technique audits, aggressive link building campaigns, plus the thing that their friend Susan is doing, and they're going to put it all together, and they get overwhelmed because they get mad too because there's conflicting advice, and it ends up either doing nothing or wasting their time on things that aren't going to help them where they're currently at. And that's so frustrating. And then you feel it's a defeating feeling. We get it.
And then you're like, nothing works.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's what you say.
So let's talk about what actually happens when you do that. Well, it creates analysis paralysis. You've heard us talk about that before. You've heard us talk about my mind just went blank. You've probably heard me say that before. Let's just keep going instead of trying to talk about all the things we've talked about. So analysis paralysis, it's when you try to do everything, but you end up doing nothing effectively. It wastes time. Advanced SEO tactics can drain hours without providing meaningful results for new blogs. Plus, it discourages consistency. When you're overwhelmed by SEO complexity, that leads you to abandon optimization efforts entirely. And the reality is that effective SEO for bloggers starts with mastering a few fundamental techniques. Mastering is the key word here. Mastering a few fundamental techniques. When you focus on the basics and you execute them consistently and continuously, you're going to see so much better results than when you jump between dozens of half-implemented tactics. Okay?
All right. So here's an example. Imagine that you're running a cooking blog Instead of trying to master technical schema markup, advanced link analysis, and competitor keyword gaps all at once, you focus on 3 things: writing posts that answer specific cooking questions for your readers. Okay, that's helpful content. You focus on optimizing your titles with relevant keywords, and you naturally link to related pieces of content in your content. So it's that whole what we talk about, well-connected content. You're doing that here, okay? So this approach is simple, and it's actually going to drive more traffic and more results because you're not scattered all over the place. You are very lasered in on 3 very specific things that you're doing to improve your business that actually are things that move the needle forward instead of squirreling everywhere else, okay? What's their key takeaway?
So your key takeaway here is SEO success comes from consistent execution of fundamental techniques, not from trying to implement every advanced tactic that you've ever heard about.
Yep.
So how do we do it? How do we master SEO without the stress? I mean, that sounds good to tell you focus on one thing, but let's really talk about what that means. What is the solution here? The solution is to focus on the SEO foundation that actually moves the needle. Effective SEO for bloggers revolves around 3 core pillars: finding the right keywords, optimizing your content, and building authentic connections. When you master these fundamentals, search engines naturally reward your efforts with better rankings and more organic traffic.
That's right. All right. So let's talk about the actionable steps that you can take to build your SEO foundation, because we can talk until we're blue in the face, but if you don't walk away with actionable steps, then what's the point in sitting here? So you need to start with your audience's questions. The best keyword research begins with understanding what your reader actually is searching for, which is why Google has spent so much time hammering into us that your content needs to be helpful. Okay. So think about the problems that they face and the questions that the end user is actually going to ask from that. So your simple research process should be, are you ready for it? Number 1, we have been saying this for as long as we've been training with you guys, 12 years, 14 years. I don't even know how long it is now. Search Console is number 1. Search Console is your free phone call to Google. We have said that for years as well. It's a free tool that Google gives you that's connected to your blog, and it is what they think your blog is about. Okay. Number 2, you could use Google's autocomplete feature. So start typing in a question that's related to your niche and see what Google suggests. So chicken, crock pot, casserole, and then stop and see what else is coming up. Okay.
Right? Chicken crock pot and then see.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Number 3, check the people also ask section in the search results for related questions. Okay. So based on the results that you get, go and take a look at that area. Look at comments on your existing post to see what readers are curious about and where you could fill in the gaps. Okay. The comments are a great place to find where you can fill in the gaps. And you could also use free tools like Answer the Public or Uber Suggest. They have a free tier. Those are great places to generate ideas as well. But don't be sidetracked by that. Number 1 should always be your Search Console. Always. We have never, ever stepped away from that idea. That is what you need to be doing. Hey, give them some examples.
It never changes. In 20 years, it has never changed.
Yeah.
Think about that. Google's changed, but it's still the number 1 place to go.
Yep.
Okay. So here's an example. If you write about personal finance, instead of targeting a competitive keyword or a keyword that gets a lot of search results and not a whole lot of competition, like budgeting, whatever, we know it does. You might target how to budget on one income, or you might target budgeting for beginners with debt. You're still targeting budget, right? But you're helpful and you're really understanding what the user wants clearly. So here's a pro tip. Focus on long tail keywords that are like 3 to 5 words that match exactly how people talk and how they search. These are easier to rank for and they attract more qualified readers.
Yeah. And think about like when people are talking into their phones, this is just kind of a little side note here. When people are talking into their phones for a search term, like they go to Google and they talk it in, the way that they talk into their phone and the way that they would type into their phone are very different. So you need to be thinking about that too. Okay. Where Kelly said, like, how do people talk to search? That's very literal. All right. Number 2, optimize your content the right way. You need to nail down your title and your introduction. Your title is your first impression with both readers and search engines. And you need to ensure that you include your target keyword, your main keyword, naturally into that area while making it compelling for humans. Because we've said for years, you have to be able to write for a bot and a person, who are two very different things here. Okay. You've got to be able to do that in your introduction and in your title.
Can I say something real quick? I just want to clarify. When we say title, typically we mean your meta title. We mean the part that shows up in the search results. So if you use something like Yoast down like below your blog post, you're going to edit that meta title probably to not be the same as your blog post title. Your blog post title is going to be very short, very specific, probably your keyword. So not the blog post title, not your H1, but your meta title, just to clarify.
Yep. All right. So do you want to talk about a formula that'll work for them?
I don't even know where I'm at. I've lost my place.
You're right here, my dear. This is what happens when you go off on rants. I'm just kidding. You're right here.
The formula that works. So you want to include your main keyword. This is in your meta title. You want to include your main keyword. You want to make it specific. You want to make it actionable. You want to keep it under 60 characters. And if it's appropriate, you want to add that emotional appeal. So, for example, your blog post might be budgeting tips for beginners, right? That's your blog post title. But your meta title, that SEO optimized one that shows up in the search results, maybe is 5 simple budget tips that saved me $500 monthly.
Yep. All right. So let's structure your content for the best results possible. You hear people talk about H1, H2, H3, H4, on and on. Let's talk about that. You need to be using heading tags like H1s, H2s, and H3s to organize your content logically. Think of it like an outline. Kelly has said that for years. This helps both the readers scan your posts, but those are also sending triggers to the search engines so that they understand the structure of the content. Do you know what your H1 is? You have one H1 in your blog post, and it's doing it without you even knowing it. It's the title of your post. That's an H1. You're not going to have any more H1s in your content. Okay?
Right.
Food for thought. All right. So give them some example structure, would you?
Yep. H1. So number 1, that would be your title of your blog post. Number 2, you introduce the problem. Your H2 introduces the problem. Another H2 maybe is your step 1 first solution, where an H3 is maybe the specific example or tip of that step 1 first solution. And you go back to another H2 that is your step 2 second solution, and then another H3 underneath that one that is maybe a common mistake to avoid for that second solution. And then maybe you have a conclusion and next steps that is another H2.
So how can you optimize without keyword stuffing? I was just going through some of our videos from the past months and some comments that were there. And, you know, people talk about how they struggle with, someone had left a comment that they struggle with not keyword stuffing. So you need to include your target keyword naturally. All right. It needs to be in your title and in your first description, but it's a numbers game too. So you want to make sure that you include it somewhere else 1 or 2 times in subheadings, and then throughout the post where it makes sense, and maybe again in your conclusion. But we're not using it one right after the other, right? We're making sure, except that title and first paragraph, those feel very one after the other. But in the rest of the places, we need to have a lot of text in between them. What's the number, Kelly? Like 300 words in between each time that we're on average in between each time that we're
like 100. It's actually like 150.
Okay, there you go. 150. But we don't want to just slam it all at the very beginning of the blog post where 5 times you've used it over and over again.
And then you never use it again.
Right. And exactly. How many times are you going to use it in your blog post? How long is your blog post? It's going to get used more times in a 700-word blog post opposed to a 300-word blog post. It's going to get used more times in a 1,200-word blog post opposed to a 500-word blog post, right? So just keep those things in mind.
Yeah, so quick quality check, very easy. Read it aloud. Read it. If the keywords feel forced or like you're just saying them over and over and over, revise it. You can also do an F3, and type it in and see how many times it shows up. And then go in and change out some of them if it's too many of them, right? So number 3, build internal links that make sense. You should be able to connect pretty much every single piece of content to each other because you have a niche site, right? Because you're not trying to write new things all the time. You're trying to expand on the topics that you already write about. So connect that related content. Internal linking helps search engines understand your site structure and keeps readers engaged with your content longer. I want to say that again, that you shouldn't be trying to write about more things. You should be trying to expand the things that you write about. We're working on our videos, future videos, and we're doing one all about CTA. And Crystal's like, I think we already did this. We didn't, right? We had to go back and look to make sure we didn't specifically say, what is a CTA? Because we're expanding our content and we talk about calls to action pretty often, but we haven't drilled down to that specific thing. That's how it should be in your content. That you feel like you've already talked about it because you've mentioned it here or there. But those mentions can be linked to the big thing that you're specifically talking about.
Right. Just because you've written about a chicken casserole one time doesn't mean that you've used up all the opportunities to write about chicken casserole.
Well, okay. And maybe you haven't even written the post of what is a casserole?
Yeah.
What is it? Why is it called a casserole? What makes it a casserole? How is that different than a salad or a pasta? Like, how are things different? What is a casserole? How is that different than a one-pot dish, right?
All right, let's talk about smart linking strategy. I've got 4 things for you to consider and think about when you're writing your content. Number 1, link to related posts when they provide additional value. That is well-connected content. Number 2, use descriptive anchor text, that click text, okay? It's not going to be click here. I want you to think of this. When you are hyperlinking your word, it is what you want them to search for. So if you hyperlink, go here to find my other chicken recipes, that means you're expecting someone to go into Google and type in, go here to find my other chicken casserole recipes. Nobody's searching for that.
And you're going to show up as in the number 1 spot. That's your hope here.
Right. Nobody's searching that way. So instead, you're hyperlinking the word chicken broccoli rice casserole. So the sentence might say, make sure you also check out my chicken broccoli rice casserole, but those chicken broccoli rice casserole words are the only ones being hyperlinked. Number 3, aim for 2 to 4 internal links in your blog post. That needs to be a good habit that you're into. And number 4, link both ways, from new posts to older content and vice versa. You're not just, when you're writing a new blog post, you're not just linking to old content into this blog post. When you're done and this post is live, you're going to take that URL and go find other blog posts to drop that link into. Okay. So can you give us an example, my friend?
Yeah. In a post about meal planning, you might link to your previous posts about budget-friendly grocery shopping, 5 make-ahead breakfast ideas, how to freeze pork loins.
Yep, exactly. Number 4, focus on natural backlink building. Create link-worthy content in doing that. Okay. This is really important. So the best backlinks come naturally when you create content that others want to reference and share.
Yeah. So some content types that attract links: original research or surveys, comprehensive guides that are like 2,000 or more words, helpful resource lists, personal case studies with real results, unique tools or templates. Like, all of those things will attract links naturally. You also need to make sure you're building authentic relationships. So when you've networked with other bloggers in your niche, that is naturally going to lead to link opportunities. So how do they do that? How do they build those relationships?
Relationship building actions that you need to start taking now. So there are 4 things. Number 1, comment thoughtfully on other blogs in your niche. So not just, oh, thanks, this was helpful. Like, be intentional with your comment. Okay. Number 2, share and engage with other bloggers, content that's on social media. Okay. Number 3, participate in blogging communities and forums. And number 4, offer to collaborate on projects or guest posts with the blogs that you want to be connected to. That is so important. There is so much that happens when you have authorship on other blogs. We're going to talk about that another time, but you need to be doing it now more than ever.
And it's easy. Here's a simple outreach approach that really works. When you reach out for backlinks, focus on providing value rather than just asking for links. So for example, Crystal, I loved your recent post about budget meal planning. I just published a detailed guide on meal prep containers, and I thought that it would be helpful for your readers. If you think it would add value, I would love it if you considered including it.
Right.
Thanks, girl. Kelly.
Okay. Number 5, track what matters most. Essential metrics to monitor are these. So don't get lost in the vanity numbers. Okay. It doesn't matter that you have 150,000 Twitter followers. right? It only matters if those 150,000 Twitter followers, which are now X followers, take action, right? So don't get lost in all those numbers. Focus on numbers that include real SEO progress. So there are 4 things we're going to share with you. Number 1, organic traffic growth month over month. Is that improving? That's important. And year over year. Okay. Number 2, ranking improvement for the target keywords that you're working on. Is that happening? If yes, that's a good step in the right direction. Number 3, the time spent on page. Are people on and off? That's a problem. Okay. We need for people to stay on the page, and we need them to dive deeper into the other content on our site, which is number 4, pages per session. So that means if you have readers that are going deeper and deeper into your content and staying on your blog longer than just that first blog post that they find, that indicates that you've done some really good internal linking. Do more of that. The posts that are not performing that way, go and make them, ensure that they have more internal linking so that people will stay on your site longer.
So, what are some simple tracking tools to help you with all of that stuff that Crystal just told us we need to be paying attention to? Google Analytics or G4. It's free. It's free. It is industry standard, and it is amazing for tracking traffic data. Google Search Console, also free, also amazing, also an industry standard for keyword rankings. And then if you would like to pay, which is pointless, but if you would like to, because it makes you feel important, SEMrush or Ahrefs, Ahrefs. I think it's Ahrefs. I was trying to think how to say it. But anyway, Ahrefs. There are free tiers, but those are kind of dumb. But you could also pay for them, again, like I said. So your final SEO challenge. This week, I want you to pick one existing blog post, and I want you to give it an SEO makeover using these 4 fundamentals. Number 1, audit your title. Does it include your target keyword? Your meta title. Does it include your target keyword, and does it appeal to your readers? Number 2, your content structure. Are you using heading tags effectively and in the correct order? Number 3, add some internal links. Find 2 to 3, 5 to 7, whatever number, depending on how many blog posts you have. Opportunities to link to your other relevant content and from your other relevant content. And then number 4, optimize your introduction. Make sure that your intro includes your target keyword naturally within the very first sentence, and that it links to your landing page or your hub for that keyword. Crystal, what are some things they need to ask themselves?
Yes, we've got 3 reflection questions for you. So here are the things we want you to ask yourself. Does this post clearly answer a specific question that my audience has? That implies that it's helpful. Number 2, would I naturally use these keywords when talking about this topic, like in person? If I was talking to someone, would I say it this way? Okay.
Right.
3, does my content provide more value than what's currently ranking for this keyword? So really step back and look at that. Okay. Really step back and look at these things. These are clear indications that you're on the right path and that you're going to see some growth. Okay.
Yeah. So if you can answer yes to these questions, you're on the right track for SEO success. Remember, SEO is not about gaming the system. So it doesn't mean that when you go look to see what is currently ranking for that keyword, that you write something longer. That doesn't mean that it's better. It just means that it's longer, which could potentially mean that it's worse. Okay. We're not gaming the system. We're creating helpful content that search engines can easily understand so that they can recommend to users who can then easily understand them and have a good experience with them. When you focus on serving your audience with well-optimized, valuable content, your rankings naturally improve over time.
So the key is consistency. Implement the things that we've talked about today with every new piece of content that you publish, and gradually start to go back and optimize that existing content. Start with top content, work your way backwards, right? So small, consistent efforts are going to compound like interest from the IRS into significant results. Don't forget you've got this. And also don't forget to grab your printables. So text the word simple to 251-644-6701. What happens if you do that and you don't get your printable? That means that you probably accidentally D&D'd us.
Or purposefully.
Or purposefully. If you did, or if you think that might be what happened, and we get it, sometimes that happens. Text the word start and only the word start, wait 10, 20, 30 seconds, and then text the word simple, and it should get you back in there. Okay. All right.
And then don't DNDS again.
Yeah, please don't. Final thoughts, Kelly?
So, yeah, go choose one post to optimize today, whether you're updating a title, adding internal links, or improving your content structure, and start building your SEO foundation one post at a time. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when we have new content. Okay?
All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Go, actually, at the end of this video, go and check out the playlist that we linked to at the end, or the video that we linked to at the end. You could binge us for days, okay? All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye.